This program is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is Home Talk USA with Michael King, where we will discuss topics pertaining to your home with industry-leading experts. Michael King is a licensed general contractor with more than 30 years of experience in home improvements and the author of Contracting with the King. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton. Discover what's next in the home improvement industry and explore new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world. As Michael King and Rita Crompton talk to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today. We invite you to visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com, one of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, we proudly present Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Yeah, hey, welcome America. That's right. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Hello, America. This is Home Talk USA, the Invent America segment of our show. I'd like to welcome my sidekick. She's on the line right now, Miss Rita Crompton. Hey, Rita, how you doing?
I am fine, Michael. It is so wonderful to hear your voice.
Did you have a great Thanksgiving?
We did. We sat around, we ate, we watched the sunrise and the sunset, and everything was great in the forest.
Yeah, you live in a beautiful part of Tennessee, right? Why don't you tell them that where you live at?
We live actually in the Cherokee National Forest, and It is lovely. We look down on the French Broad River, and never before had I realized how much I would enjoy just learning about the history of an area.
Wow.
And that river has been here for 250 million years, so there is a lot of history to learn.
Well, a lot going on with the Invent America segment of Home Talk USA since we launched it about 4 weeks ago, and people are inquiring about it, really helping the young inventors out there, and I want to talk about that. We talked about the first steps that you need, but I really want to cover that patent because the patent is the key to everything, that proprietary patent that realistically can protect your invention. And it's a big mistake when I go out there and people are putting their ideas out there and they're not protecting themselves.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And we run into this all the time. And kind of on two sides of that is that, one, they just go out there with an idea and they don't protect it. And then they're thinking, okay, well, let me license this. Well, you can't. Companies that license intellectual property, that's the key word, is that they're licensing intellectual property. The patent is intellectual property. Ideas are like belly buttons. Everybody's got one. And it doesn't matter how cute yours is, I can't sell it. And so the patent now gives you the right to, basically what you're doing is renting the right for someone else to use your patent to make something, sell it, and send you a royalty check. And so the patent done well is a very key component to all of this. And a lot of inventors are like, well, I'll do it myself, or, they, fill in a template, or they don't do one at all. And then they wonder why they can't license it or why they can't get into the big box stores. And that's why, is that this is probably, I get so many inventors that'll say, well, it costs too much. Well, in the scheme of things, and you know this, it's the least expensive, or should be, of all of them. And, marketing is more expensive, manufacturing is more expensive. So today we're going to talk about, what are the options on the patent.
Great. That's a good point. So let's walk them through the steps, what you should do.
Okay. So first of all, it's not, we always laugh because we'd say, well, the inventor's business plan is have idea, get patent, make money. And there's so much more to it than that. And so what we look at then is not should you file first, but can you file something? So the first phase is, you look around, you, Mr. or Ms. Inventor, you look around as much as you can, but then you have a comprehensive independent search done. Somebody else that doesn't have any skin in the game as far as writing a patent. They're just doing the searching. And it's got to be a U.S. search, an international search, and a product search. So once then you get the search results back, now you can start taking a look at it, and a lot of the really good ideas are simple improvements on existing things. So when I get someone that says, well, I'm not really an inventor, I just have this simple thing, it's like, don't sell yourself short. America is made up of inventors from every walk of life in every part of the country at every age. And, sometimes it's that simple improvement, like the guy that invented the flashlight that would wrap around a pole. Still a light coming out of the end of the stick, but now it wraps around the pole so you can, you don't have to hold it in your mouth. Very cool. And, we'll get little simple things that make a big difference in an industry. And those are the things that, that the everyday inventor is working on. And it's wonderful to see the inventors get a product into the marketplace, get it licensed. We had a lady years ago that did a little product called Disposal Genie, and it is still selling at all the Home Depots and Lowe's across North America.
I remember when
she first... simple little gadget. Yeah.
I remember when she first launched that. When she first launched it, came to the show. I remember that long time ago. Yep.
Long time ago. And, it was funny because so many times I will buy for Christmas for my family the new products that are coming out at the hardware show the next year. And so, it was like my son-in-law the first year was like, well, this is kind of weird that she's doing this. And then it's like the next year it was like, oh, my God, what's your mother giving us for Christmas this year? So, it's funny because the family always gets to see some of those first things that are coming out, and they have learned to anticipate what's it going to be, what's the new secret. And, then we get to the hardware show and the licensing. One of the cool things that's happened because of Invent America is we had a gentleman call and say, I heard one of your segments, and we want to license that product. And that's what we're shooting for is, that we help the new inventors, but then the inventors that are on the show, we help them because they're starting to get now some traction from the companies that want to either buy product or they want to license product. And that's what this is all about.
Yeah. You said that, you hit the nail on the head right there, but it's a process. It's a simple process. And if you have somebody like, your company, that actually can walk them through the steps. One, you can't do two till you do one. You can't do three till you do two. Simple as that.
You're exactly right. And so when we hear these companies say, well, we do it all for you, no, they can't. Because the inventor is looking at what they learn at each step to determine whether or not they should move on. Yeah. So when, you get the search done, now you go in, you talk to a registered patent attorney. The attorney says, here's your parameters, here's what you can do. And then you say, all right, well, now that I know what the parameters are, now you go to an engineer, you get help with the prototyping. Because an engineer is going to charge you for every version he's got to do. If you can go in and say, this is what my patent attorney said, here's the parameters I can work within. And these are the things I can do. I can't claim them as new, but I can still do them because the patents have expired. Well, those are the parameters that a good engineer needs.
And we talked about that a couple of weeks ago on a show where we talked about existing products, and that kind of deters a lot of people. And,
it does.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. We're going to take a short break. There's the music. Rita, don't go nowhere, okay?
Okay.
All right, this is, you listen to Home Talk USA, the Invent America portion of our show. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with our first guest. Rita's going to tell us who our first guest is on the show. Don't forget, we are streaming live on the World Wide Web at HomeTalkUSA.com. You can follow us on all your social circles, HomeTalkUSA.com, Facebook, Twitter. The keyword is what? Again, HomeTalkUSA. It's just simple. All right, we're going to take a short break. Always support your local independent hardware stores and garden centers. And let's pledge to hire a vet today. Let's pledge to hire a contractor today. I'm a little stuttering again this morning. I apologize on this long weekend. I'll be right back. Yay!
USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HometalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HometalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
All right, welcome back to the only home improvement show dedicated to you, the American consumer. Don't forget, we are streaming live on the World Wide Web at HometalkUSA.com. You can follow us on all your social circles, Facebook, Twitter. Also, don't forget to check out our television show at HometalkTV.com, HometalkTV.com. This is the Invent America part of our show where we feature and highlight some inventors and helping you when it comes to your invention, just to walk you through the steps and so you don't make the common mistakes. But along with me and my sidekick, Rita Crompton. Rita, so who's our first guest?
Well, our guest today is Travis Kelley. Travis, thanks so much for joining us. Travis is the founder of JENTRA Door Products. It's a company that specializes in the pre-hung door shipping and installation products. He's the holder of 2 patents and has over 15 years experience throughout the door industry. So, Travis, thanks so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about what the products are that you invented.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. So in my experience of installing and warrantying doors, I just came to the conclusion that it was something that was really hard to do. Kind of no matter how much experience you have or how many of you've done, you just come to a situation that I guess left you scratching your head or just couldn't get the door to work right or shut right. So we invented a set of levels and spacers that click onto the door slab itself and show level and plumb at the same time, and then space out the pre-hung door in its frame to what the Window and Door Manufacturers Association say those gaps are supposed to be. So essentially it's a set of hands-free levels and spacers for a door that help you install a door the same every time.
Well, that sounds fascinating because I have done that before and not used real ladylike words when I couldn't get it to work right. So anyway, I do understand the challenge there on that. But one of the things that we're talking about today is the patent process. And I know that you had used the Pro Bono program. One, how did you find out that it existed, and how did it help you?
So that's a funny story. I don't want to talk too long. I don't know how much time we have, but when I started up, I knew a patent was important. I didn't understand the process of getting one or really how to go about it. But the advice I was given, or the one thing I kind of nailed on, is you have to start with a provisional patent, right, or a patent pending status. So I used a popular website company to help me do that. After I applied, within about a month, I actually got a letter back from the U.S. government, or a pro bono program. To be honest, I almost threw it away because it sounded too good to be true. Basically, here's a company saying that they saw my patent application, they saw substance in it, and wanted to help me get a free patent. And that sounds like every sales pitch I've ever heard. So it just didn't seem like, like I said, too good to be true. But the letter was really official looking. It almost looked like a $100 bill with watermarks and ribbons. And so I knew better than to throw it away, but I just left it sit on my desk for about a month until it finally kept poking me, and I called it, and sure enough, not only did you guys help me get a free patent, but at the time you provided me with one of the largest door companies in the world's patent attorney. So my patent wasn't written by somebody who didn't understand fenestration. It was written by somebody who is the best at their game in it. So I can't promote you guys enough. Or not only will you help people, but you really connect them with somebody in their field who knows what they're doing.
Well, and my understanding is that the pro bono program started, really got some gusto back in about 2013, 2014, and then they started setting up offices in most of the major metropolitan areas, and then certainly, you can have access where there is a law school. So it's really a wonderful resource. Now, there's qualifiers, and Morris is going to be on next, so we'll be able to talk more about, how someone qualifies, because not everybody can go and say, oh, give me a free patent, right?
Correct, yep. Yeah, and so that's one of the things. When we started, I was 20 years old, was working a normal job, making roughly $15, $16 an hour. I didn't have the resources, nor did I know how I would get them. So to be honest, the pro bono patent was really an answer to my prayers on how that was going to come forward. So,
So, Travis, where are your products currently being sold?
So you can find us in local lumber yards. We sell our pre-hanging products right to door manufacturers. So it's our hope one day that you're going to see our products start to ship out on pre-hung doors. One of our second patents was adding a rubber spacer in between the door and its frame as it's being shipped out. Similar to how, like if you buy a TV in the cardboard box, it has styrofoam packaging it inside, keeping it from bouncing around and up and down. Currently, right now, there really isn't anything like that in the pre-hung door industry. So hopefully, one day soon you'll see it on a door near you.
All right, Travis, this is Mr. King here. I really thank you for the kind words. And everybody always asks us why we do what we do. It's because, I'm a true American, and Rita's a true American, and we love this country. And over the past 30 years, we've traveled all over the United States doing these trade shows, and we've met a lot of people. But when we can help people to bring their inventions, it just makes it's the whole trickle-down economics and everything that's involved that really makes this country strong. And this country was based on the entrepreneur inventing things. You got to remember, everybody else copies things. They're forgers. They just don't. It's one thing about this country. We're the inventors. We're not the copycats, and that's why we do it. To be honest with you,
Very well said.
But we're gonna have to take a short break, though. We want to thank you. Get that website in. How can we learn a little bit more about you, my buddy?
Yeah, you can go to www.JENTRATools.com. JENTRA tools.com.
Well, we definitely want to thank you. And Rita, you want to say goodbye?
Travis, thanks so much. We'll get that website posted with us, and I will be giving you a call. We'll add a video to this as well.
All right.
Great. You guys have a good day. Thanks a lot.
You got it, Travis.
Bye-bye.
Rita, I tell you, that was a great guess. And this pro bono patent is going to be used once we can get the word out. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, as we got to step away, we got to pay some bills. That's right. We got to keep the lights on here on the Home Talk USA Radio Network. We also thank you for tuning in. We're going to be right back on the Invent America with another guest, another inventor right here, talking about their products. Along with my sidekick, Rita Crompton, I'm the Cajun contractor, Michael King. We'll be right back. Yay! Y'all come back now, you hear?
Welcome back to Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Now, hey, welcome back, America. That's right. I always say life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what it's all about. Education, information. Right, Rita? That's the whole key. That's the whole key, huh? Educating and provide good information. Right, Rita?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so who's our next guest, Rita?
Our next guest is Morris Newman. He is the Executive Director of the Pro Bono Advisory Council. It's a 501c3 that assists the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office with administering the patent pro bono legal services. Morris, that is a mouthful. We need to shorten that title for sure. But thank you so much, Morris, for being with us today. And
we got to Rita, I'm sorry, Rita, to interrupt. We got to shorten that title up somehow. What you think?
No kidding. So, Morris, take us through a simplified version of what exactly do you do?
Well, first of all, we like to call it PBAC for the Pro Bono Advisory Council. Okay, I mean, it's a long story, which I will make as short as I possibly can. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Patent Pro Bono Program, which has been in existence, in a sense, since 2011, when there was a federal law passed that required them to establish it. But it really got going, maybe about 5-6 years ago, and each year gets bigger and bigger in terms of the number of inventors that we help. And my little organization, that's a tiny organization with too long of a name, just what we do is we assist the Patent Office with administering the program. But it's really put together, it's really put out there by a whole bunch of wonderful nonprofits scattered across the country that provide full U.S. coverage for qualified inventors to get matched up with top-level patent attorneys to work on getting their patent. So it's a great thing for those who qualify based on their income.
Okay, so I want to pick up on that part a little bit. What are the qualifications that you're looking for? Because the last thing you need is, 25,000 people calling you tomorrow to ask for help with their patent. I know that there's qualifiers. Explain those a little bit, and how would someone go about, getting a form or getting more information?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. 25,000 would be too much. 24,500, maybe we can handle that. I don't know.
Okay.
We can go for it if we need to. Okay. Without getting too far into the weeds on this, as I mentioned, there's about 22 different programs across the country that actually put this into effect. They're all independent. So, for example, some of them are, volunteer lawyers for the arts, like Georgia Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts. Indiana and Kentucky is run by the Indiana University School of Law. There's a variety of programs. And the reason I mention it that way is that each one of them has slightly different qualifications for folks entering the program. The nutshell rule of thumb is if the inventor is at 3 times the poverty level or less, then based on their income, they're eligible, for the program. Now they got a trust fund of $18 million and a low income, maybe they won't get in. But so there's a lot that goes into it. But that's the basic rule. And so I would suggest anybody who might be hearing this, if you're an inventor who's going to be looking for, patent protection, and you're at or around 3 times the poverty level, then, no harm whatsoever in reaching out and checking out the program.
Well, I know you and I talked years ago about the fact that there's so much more to getting a product to market than just the patent, but it starts with the patent.
Yes.
And so when we're looking at, if being able to get the product into the marketplace is it's got multiple levels to it. But when we start out with a good filing by a pro bono attorney, and then we can move on to, some other options. Licensing, then, for licensing, we need patent pending status. So a pro bono attorney helps a lot with that. And then a proof of concept prototype. And from there, then, we can go on and get something, into the marketplace and teed up for licensing. But, most licensees, they want to know that a registered patent attorney did the filing. That is critical for them.
Right. I mean, technically, an individual can file their own patent. It's called pro se. But part of the reason why this program exists is to limit those pro se applications as much as possible. That's to the benefit, obviously, of the inventor because, patent law is very complicated, and trying to do it on your own, it's might not be the same as doing heart surgery on yourself, but, it's heading in that general direction. So anybody who is eligible or thinks they might be eligible financially for this program, they absolutely need to check it out so that the patent application is done correctly, just as you noted, Rita.
It's so important to make sure that it's done correctly. I mean, there's a reason why these guys go to school and spend so much money to get, a law degree and then to get teed up for registered patent attorney status. And, I always use the analogy, the metaphor that it's like doing your own brain surgery, and by the time you realize you've made a mistake, it's too late to fix it. So that's one of the reasons why your program is so beneficial to those inventors that say, I just can't afford to do this. If they can go pro bono, they can save the few precious dollars that they have on getting that proof of concept prototype done.
Right, absolutely.
So I want to tell you how much I appreciate it, because I have had inventors come to me that have said, okay, now I'm ready to license because I've had a good attorney do this through the pro bono program, and we've been able then to get their product out there for licensing. And without you guys, they would not have that option.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's excellent to know.
Now, let me ask you this. Right quick, Morris. What's the best advice, though? If you had to really give that one advice that we can get out of this conversation, what would it be?
Well, first, with, of course, the disclaimer that I'm not a patent attorney and I'm not an attorney at all, so I can't give quote-unquote advice. But the best advice would be either by going through, my website, probonoadvisorycouncil.org, all one word, or directly to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office's website. And, again, start with the Patent Pro Bono page at the USPTO's website to see if you're qualified there. But the PTO has tremendous amounts of educational information.
We got to take a short break, Morris. I hate to interrupt.
Sure.
Got to go. Give us that website right quick.
Okay, it's probonoadvisorycouncil.org.
Hey, just spell it out. probonoadvisorycouncil.com. .org.
Right.
All right, Morris, I want to thank you again for being our guest, and we'll definitely get you back in the future. And as we get this thing started and get everything happening here, thank you so much. Morris Newman, the Executive Director of the Pro Bono Council. Thank you again.
Yep, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me on.
All right, we're going to have to take a short break along with my side cook, Rita Crompton. We're going to be back with Rita, and we'll be making some closing remarks. And we sure hope you enjoy the program, the Invent America segment of Home Talk USA, right here on the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com.
Welcome back to Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
All right, welcome back to the only home improvement show dedicated to you, the American consumer. Don't forget, we are streaming live on the World Wide Web at HomeTalkUSA.com. We always invite you to check out our television show at HomeTalkTV.com, HomeTalkTV.com. Rita, I'll tell you what, these two guests that we had, Morris and Travis, we got a good aspect of the whole patent process between these two people. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree, 100%. It's such an important early step for inventors, and we want to make sure that they have the right options for them.
Well, I'm looking at my my Twitter. It's exploding right now because when you talk about something pro bono, when you're going to allow and help realistically new inventors with great ideas that simply don't have any money. And it'd be a shame not to bring this to market if money had, is part of the equation. Because we've seen some great ideas over the years, We have. And when Travis was talking about his, idea and how it's, he's getting into different stores and everything, without the pro bono program, that would not exist.
And so we're so excited to be able to, to have Morris on and then to have Travis, tell us what he's done. And it's there's so many inventors out there that are just, they've got a brilliant idea that they've come up with while they were working on the job, and we want to be able to help them.
Well, I really appreciate Travis telling his story. He's a guy who came up with a pre-hung door system, and me being a general contractor, I need to tell you, when you could save a contractor time and money, and you don't have to worry about shimming this thing out and measuring this out, and when it's a pre-hung system, he was a guy, this product would have never came to market. Right. If it wouldn't have been for the...
I've heard other stories from, people who've been able to use the Pro Bono program, how much it's helped them, and just being able to get to that next level then of where now they're able to do the proof of concept. And a lot of times they've already got the proof of concept because they're like Travis, they're working in the industry.
Yeah. Well, also, Rita, let's change the subject a minute. Give us an update. What's going on in the industry? And I know we're going to start talking about the trade show coming up soon.
We are. In fact, next week we've got Debbie McManus from the National Hardware Show is going to be on, and a couple of inventors who were at the show with us last year. And they'll be talking about their products and what they're expecting this year from the show, and just, kind of all the steps that go into getting yourselves teed up for a show. And it's not just the National Hardware Show. There is a show for everything, Michael. I've been to the National Asphalt Show. It wasn't very big, but it was very productive, and that's what we're looking for.
Now, I guess I want to ask you the process with you, though. I think that's important.
Sure. As a licensing agent, it's like you're a general contractor. Okay, I'm a licensing agent. I help inventors find and then negotiate a deal where they can get someone else who's going to make it, sell it, and send them a check. But I don't charge anything up front. And so being able to help inventors sooner rather than later so they don't make any of the big mistakes, and especially the costly mistakes. When I get an inventor that says I spent $50,000 on my patent, it's like, get a new patent attorney, for goodness sakes. But it's critical then that we do the steps in the right order so that we know we've got everything covered when we get to the point of now being able to license it. Because a good licensee is going to ask me some very basic upfront questions. And we can do this in basically 30 seconds. What problem did you solve? Can we make it at a price that the consumer is willing to pay for it? Did you use a registered patent attorney? And do you have the proof of concept prototype? With those 4 questions, the licensee now knows whether or not they want to actually talk to the inventor. So what I do is I try to help the inventor work through those steps and those phases sooner rather than later. So I like it when an inventor calls me and says, I have an idea. What do I do first? Because then we know we can get a good search done. And we cover then that 2.5-year blind spot at the patent office. It's a legitimate blind spot, but it's still there. And that's what we do, is we try to help facilitate the inventors to get through all the steps so that when we do get to the point of licensing, we know we've done the best job we can.
And the whole goal of this point of licensing is to protect the inventor.
Correct.
That they won't have their ideas stolen. It's just as simple as that. Protection.
Exactly, because the licensee will generally then fight the infringement.
You got it.
So you don't have to. And that makes all the difference in the world.
Well, hold on that thought right there. We're going to have to take a break. Got to pay some bills. We're going to come back and do a wrap-up of this week's show, of the Invent America show, inside of the Home Talk USA radio program, part of the Home Talk radio program family. On behalf of Rita Crompton and myself, don't go nowhere. We're going to come back with some closing thoughts and some breaking news right here on Home Talk USA, streaming live on the World Wide Web at HomeTalkUSA.com, broadcasting each week and every week on the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. I'm the Cajun Man. I'll be right back.
Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Yeah, hey, welcome back to the only home improvement show dedicated to you, the American consumer. Don't forget, we are streaming live on the World Wide Web on the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. This show is podcast 24/7, 365 each day, every day on the Home Talk USA Radio Network website. All you have to do is go there. We have streaming services. We have podcast services. We have the Genesis Communication Radio Network archive site, our archive site, the Invent America archive site. Rita, there's no reason in the world that they can't get this show. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, for sure.
But I want to make a curtain call out there, and somebody made a good point. You made a good point earlier. If you're listening to this podcast service, you need to go, and if we're not being carried in your local market, you realistically need to go down to the radio station and find out why. Really, huh, Rita? They really have to find out why.
Absolutely, because I've had people, it's like, how'd you get my name? I'm listening to you on the radio right now. Yeah. And it's like, well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, Rita, give your website out before I close up the show.
InventorLady.com. We are easy to find.
Well, Rita, until next week, I want to thank you again for being here and helping this part of our show, Home Talk USA radio program. And that about does it.
USA with Michael King is produced by Home Talk Media in association with King's Broadcasting Network and Genesis Communications Network. Broadcast and streamed live from the great state of Louisiana. Host and producer, the Cajun contractor, Michael King. Executive producer, Michael Mellinson. Affiliate and sponsor relations, Joe Spera. Comptroller, Sheila Gregoire. Assistant producer, Christian Bethencourt. Board operators provided by Genesis Communications Network. And I'm your announcer, Kevin McCarthy. Music includes King's Creole by Prolific Arts, Cajun Jam by StockMusic.com, and Zydeco City by Steve Rice. Home Talk USA with Michael King is sponsored by Bonide, pest solutions for your home, garden, and lawn. Decorators, take outdoor living beyond ordinary. Aztec Washer, innovative roofing solutions. Seal it right, seal it tight. Trimislab, replace rotten or missing wood with Trimislab expansion joint repair. Masonry Cosmetics, change the color of any porous masonry with proven masonry staining. Green Products Company, #1 in wood preservatives. Preserve, protect, and clean what you value, and most of all, make it last. Bond Products, manufacturers of Instabind, the world's first do-it-yourself carpet binding solution. Deckrite, life is tough. Make your exterior flooring tougher. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Home Talk USA with Michael King. Until next time, visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com.
Yay!